raking in cash. These companies are...
Isn't Micron building though currently right now in the United States? Because it's being put under the is it the Chip Act, or I don't know if it's the Chip Act, but it's being partly subsidized, correct? Once AI takes over, the internet is doomed. I mean, AI content's already out there.
Currently lapping up 70 to 80% margins on their memory compared to the historical norm of 30 to 40% because of one simple fact, that their new favorite customers, big tech companies, will pay absolutely anything for it. We are in a very unique situation where basically for the first time since the dot-com bubble, some of the richest companies on the planet like Microsoft, Amazon, Google are not even behaving like businesses. They're spending more money than they're even making from AI
so much,
because
dude.
the fear of losing the AI race has actually become bigger than the fear of debt. This is a very precarious situation for the world to be in, and it puts these memory companies in such a powerful position that it feels like they've just decided to forget entirely about the consumer, with Micron actually quietly shutting down its consumer memory brand, Crucial, to focus on these data center business customers. Now, new factories are coming. Elon Musk and Intel are building a giant AI complex in Texas, for example, that will also make some memory, but none of it produces anything meaningful before 2028. Plus, almost all of that new capacity is being built for, you guessed it, the AI customers anyway, because, well, you already know now. So how much more expensive has this memory really become? Well, to give you an idea, within just 3 months at the end of last year, the price of a single 16GB stick of RAM rose almost 300%, according to Tom's Hardware's RAM price index. Asha Sharma,
This is why you guys come in here and you're like, Cross, your vault is bloated to hell and back. Why do you keep so much shit? This is exactly why. Because every PC I have ever had, every PC since 2014, I have never gotten rid of. It is still in my home, in my garage. I got random sticks of RAM. Don't try to come over here. I got high ground. But I got random sticks of RAM around this bitch that I'm happy I kept. I regret selling my previous PC. I know, man. I know. None of us, I've never seen or experienced this ever. You know, I've been PC gaming since about roughly 2014. And the way it always goes is new generation of shit comes out. The previous generation gets a hell of a lot cheaper. Then COVID happened. That went to hell and back. And then beyond COVID, we have or are living through essentially the AI boom, AI bubble, whatever you want to call it. And the prices are just all over the place.
CEO of Xbox has said the price we paid for console storage components was over 2 times as high as we paid last fall. These costs have since doubled again, and as we plan for the 2027 holiday season, we expect another significant increase, taking us over 5 times the prices we paid only 2 years earlier. 5 times. Memory is getting so expensive that, according to a report from TrendForce, on some high-end graphics cards, the memory that's on the card, known as the VRAM, now accounts for up to 80% of the total cost. Let that sink in. The actual clever bit of the graphics card that you should be paying for, the GPU chip that companies like Nvidia spend billions designing, is on some cards now costing less than the basic memory that's soldered around it.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
Here's where it starts to get problematic. The implications from these higher prices are bigger than they first seem, because when the prices go up, of course, fewer consumers buy. Like if we take PlayStation, in May 2026, just after the price hike, Americans bought fewer PlayStations than they had in any May since the year 2000. That's before the PlayStation 2 had even come to America. Xbox had the worst May in its entire history, and it's much bigger than just PlayStation and Xbox. Any company that makes any type of computing hardware. I was speaking to the director of one of the big Windows handheld companies, the companies that make this kind of stuff, and his words were, man, Windows gaming handhelds and computers are dead now. No company will launch new products if the memory prices continue to rise. It is crazy now. How bad do things need to be for a director of a currently operating business to call their own business dead? Even like Valve, typically the strongman of value gaming, just launched their Steam Machine, a box that's barely as powerful as the 6-year-old PS5, for $1,049. It's not going to be the next Steam Deck, put it that way. So all of a sudden, the home console, the bastion that for 30 years has been the affordable way to game, the thing your mum could buy you at Christmas, is quietly drifting away from a staple to a luxury purchase. Now, gamers aren't going to stop playing games, right? But are they going to have to start changing where they play them? Very possibly. And that's where things get concerning. If the PlayStation 6, for example, launches at 2.5 times the base price that the PS5 did, $1,000, which sounds like an outrageous prediction, but is actually what the current latest rumors are suggesting, then it's not a crazy thought that far fewer people are going to buy a PS6. And you might think, okay, I mean, that's fine, I'll just wait, I'll buy it pre-owned. But it's not about just us, the individual. See, the entire console gaming industry relies on momentum. These companies have to sell tens of millions of these consoles right out the gate to prove to developers that their new platform is worth developing for. It means that a new console is basically either all or nothing. You either sell tons of boxes, have developers flooding to your platform to make games for those users, and then even more users buying your console because of those games. The Nintendo Wii is a great example of forward momentum like this, with the console eventually hitting 101 million sales. Or you bottle it at the start. You don't manage to get that initial launch trajectory. Game devs don't want to take the risk, and then pretty much nothing you do is going to save your platform. Like the Wii U, which came just after the Wii, and in its entire lifetime has only hit 13.5 million. So my question is, how on earth are Sony or Xbox going to build any kind of momentum with their next-gen consoles if they're priced at $1,000?
Dude, I just don't think you could do it. Like, I just don't think you should launch a new console. Why? Like, you still have people playing on PlayStation 4 and the old Xbox. I love new hardware. I'm all about, better specs. And I even tune in for the next generation, even if the prices are outrageous. But I definitely don't jump to buy anything anymore. And for like a console, if a console is going to be like if the PlayStation 6 and the new Xbox is going to be $1,000, I just don't even think you even push it out.
If the PS6 launches and only 5 to 8 million people buy one in the first year, whereas 80 million people are currently on PS5s, which platform are developers going to prioritize their games for? Obviously the old one. Sure, they'll make a version that runs at a higher resolution for the latest hardware, but any sensible developer who's going to have to spend maybe half a decade pouring everything into their next game is going to do everything to make sure that it's PS5 users who are getting an optimal experience, because that's where the money is. So now there is even less reason to upgrade. And the spiral descends. Because here's the thing, Sony more so than Xbox is a little bit protected in the short term. If no one buys a PS6, then they do still have this giant PS5 install base to sell subscriptions and games to. But the install base of a console is like a melting ice cube. Consoles break, they get sold, they get retired, and players do slowly lose attachment and stop buying games for it across its lifetime. They drift over to PC, phones, or just out of the hobby. Normally, the thing that replenishes this pool of active users is the next-gen console. So if the PS6 ends up too expensive to do that, then the paying population for companies like Sony is going to shrink every year, with nothing refilling it. So, if these companies want to continue to maintain their profits, they have to claw back money from other places. And as far as I can see, there are 4 ways that they could do this. The first lever they can pull is subscriptions. I think these companies will raise the price of subscriptions and will make it feel more essential to pay a monthly fee to get the experience. I mean, Xbox tried an enormous price increase at the end of last year to Game Pass, then realized they went a little too far and pulled it back a bit. But it's still more expensive than it.
Dude, you keep doing the whole like subscription game. Pirating is already back in a really big way, but it's gonna get way worse.
And Nintendo's already started jacking up online costs 2 months ago in Japan, so who knows how long till that becomes global. Lever 2 is game prices, and we've already been seeing a lot of this before the memory crisis. Like $60 was the default price for a game for 15 years. Then it jumped to $70 in 2020, only to now start another jump to $80 just 5 years after. If things carry on like this, we might be seeing the $100 video game sooner than we'd like to. The third lever is control. This is what we've just seen happen with Sony, announcing that from 2028 onwards, they're going to seize distribution of physical discs. And this might seem completely unrelated to what's happening here, but the key thing that this move achieves for Sony is rerouting a lot of the money in the gaming market that wasn't previously going to them, back to them, because it means that you can't sell your games anymore. When games are digital, they are tied to your account, effectively shutting down the entire secondhand market. It means that if your friend wants to play the same game you're playing, you can't just lend it to them. They can't just pop over to eBay and grab it for $20. They have to make an entirely new, maybe $80, maybe $100 purchase direct to Sony. And if that doesn't already sound like a problem, look at this. On my PlayStation right now, if I want to buy, say, Immortals of Avian, a game that, safe to say, flopped pretty hard, Sony is currently selling that for £69.99. That exact same game, I can pop onto my phone, gone to CEX and ordered the physical edition for £5.
Holy shit, dude. What the fuck is that price? Do the prices not, or they don't adjust them down? They just hold? Jesus, dude. PlayStation has sell events. You think they're gonna charge 5 for it? Listen, Steam ain't perfect. The Steam machine is overpriced. But if you ever get into PC gaming, I really think that's the way to go. This is not me trying to plug Starforge. This is me just telling you, I feel like you get such good deals on PC. There's websites you can go to that also have really good deals where you can get codes redeemed. Game Pass is all. I would say Game Pass has been pretty solid so far. Yes, they try to hike up the price, but the things they've been including on Game Pass has been really good. But I just feel like PC is just the way to go, man. And like once you get into the PC ecosystem, guys, you may jump into consoles. It's like a really special game, but there are so many good games over here at such good prices. You'll love it, man. The water's great. Make the jump. I know. And now here's the thing. You're like, but it's expensive. And I get that. But at least you can use the PC for other shit. You know what I mean? It's not just for game. You can watch. Never watch porn, guys. Never watch porn on your gaming PC. But you can watch movies. There's a lot of things you can do with your gaming PC.
It is crazy to think that this second option could just disappear. And crazier still, that this is how Sony prices games while these other options still exist. What are they going to do when there's no other option? To clarify, when Sony accesses the discs, you will still be able to buy their games at other retailers. But you'll be buying a download code that still has to go through the PlayStation Store to get you the games.
I don't know what I expected.
So Sony will control the price more so than they ever have been able to with discs. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Sony axed the disc because of AI, but I do think that Sony axing discs is a sign of a squeezed, desperate industry, and that squeeze is largely brought on by this AI boom. And even if these discs don't officially die till 2028, it feels like the beginning of the end is now, with GTA 6, maybe the biggest game launch in history. But the only physical thing about the physical edition is a download code, at which point they might as well just be digital only. And Nintendo too, because their game cartridges rely on the same type of flash memory that's rocketing up in price, publishers on Switch 2 are increasingly shipping dataless game key cards. Like Elden Ring, it's a cartridge in a box that doesn't actually have the game on the cartridge, just a key that downloads it. So when you put it in, you're the one who has to download it, and you're the one using up your internal storage instead of theirs. And the fourth lever that these companies can use to recoup their costs, the darkest one I'm getting to. But for the time being, can you see how it's already getting more expensive and just worse to be a console gamer? This is even leading to some insiders claiming that while Sony originally planned to launch PS6 in 2027, that it has now been delayed to 2028 or later. And whichever way this turns out, there is absolutely no doubt that we're about to see slower progress in games becoming next generation. And there's even a supposed